It is good to be able to think outside of just, well, that's not what it is. What do I say all the time? If people don't know how to engage with hypotheticals or analogies, they're stupid. So postmodernism says there's no truth. Post-structuralism said there's not right and wrong. It is a search for meaning and morality in the absence of religion, for sure. The Frankfurt School is intellectuals untethered from any concept of objective reality, and so anything goes.
There is absolutely no truth.
Yeah, and there are contexts in which it is helpful and I don't know, just generally good to be able to think in those ways, to be able to access the fact that you are entertaining something that may not be tethered to objective reality. That's a good thing to be able to do that. But just like for those you don't know, again, I'm a professional dog trainer. One of the first things that I'll say over and over and over and over and over when I'm teaching my clients to walk their dog is that you have to remember. Let's say your dog's a boy. You're walking him. He's not walking you. The idea being that most people are getting pulled around by their dog and whatever. And even the ones that are, doing pretty well, they'll be walking and the dog wants to stop and sniff this and stop and sniff that and stop and sniff that. And the problem isn't that we don't want dogs sniffing stuff while they're outside. That is not the problem. The problem is when the dog thinks that they are entitled to do so. And so we teach them, no, I'm walking you, you're not walking me. You walk with me, and I will let you stop. And so then once you respect that authority, then you can do that. And so in the same way, it is good to be able to think outside of just, well, that's not what it is. What do I say all the time? If people don't know how to engage with hypotheticals or analogies, they're stupid. But you can't just think that way all the time. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's not real. Leslie said Nazi top brass believed in one of the masters of suspicion, not Marx, but Nietzsche. Shout out to Nietzsche.
God is dead.
Ian says it's saying I know more than God does. Fair. Leslie said the German Volk was very Christian. Volk. But so were the communist people of Stalin's USSR. Yeah, that's a good point. And a lot of people will bring up atheism and be like, the Stalin and Mussolini's atheism. Was Stalin an atheist? He was, right? Yeah. But anyway, point being that the just because Mussolini brushed his hair and you also brush your hair doesn't make you a bad person.
Just brush my hair.
Just because I'm an atheist and Mussolini was an atheist doesn't mean that atheism means that you want, all that bad stuff. Gomnick's in a good way of thinking about PBD, not saying he's voting for Trump, is sell the vacation, not the plane flight. I like it. So the soul said, I guess that's why I'm not a salesman. Takes advantage of people who aren't as smart in a sense. Because if you're going to listen and think he isn't voting Trump, that gives an advantage to, then the purpose is to appeal to the lowest IQ block, and it feels dirty. Well, hey, baby, politics is dirty.
Freedom. Crazy person in the White House? According to who? Again, well, it's my opinion.
That's
it's
right.
My vote. It's all,
okay,
just like it
but
is
set
yours.
That aside.
It's hardly my.
Let's go 2028 candidacy. Then it's not going to be Trump or Biden. Forget about the name, and we don't even see a faceless candidate. Put a faceless candidate, Bill. So we don't have a name, right? That's faceless. What values are important to you? Force or freedom?
Freedom.
Why
is that funny?
We're not talking 24. We're going 28.
I mean, it's all good to be a reductionist, but
why don't you just answer the question? Okay, it's a very simple question: freedom or force. Just answer the question. I don't get it. Why you don't answer the question? Projection. Told you to keep that in mind. I told you to keep that in mind. So the Communist Party was atheist because they saw religion as a challenge to the authority of the state. For them, it was about removing anything that might challenge the party authority. Exactly. And so the problem with the problem with atheism in this context is that it wasn't stacked on. Atheism is a position. It's not saying I believe this, I believe that, I believe. You can believe anything and be an atheist except for a god or gods. And so, again, the American identity is what we can all believe in. Something, an ideal that none of us are going to be perfect. None of us are going to have the perfect family. None of us are going to have the perfect community. None of us are going to be grateful all the time. We're not going to have perfect grace. We're not always going to look on merit. And, you know, maybe in our homes, then dictatorships and communism work better than democracy. But the fact is that as a country and our politics, that is something. And I'm telling you that over the last 20 years, whether you like it or not, people are moving away from God and religion. If we, the people who see that replacing religion with the state is not a good thing, if we don't create that replacement, then we are destined to lose. There is no other option.
28.
I mean, it's all good to be a reductionist, but
Nope.
I'm sorry. I don't find it intellectually honest to be among the things I don't find it to think you can reduce the entire election and our way of life to 2 words.
No,
it's just too much more complicated than that.
But if
I don't want to be forced, you're
Okay.
right, to do anything
sure,
that I shouldn't do, but I understand why they have to force me to like not shoot you or force
That's
me
law and
to
order.
pay.
Yeah, that's not a force. That's allowing you to live. Yes, if it's impeding on somebody else's ability to exercise their rights, then yes, that's where we want the government to say you can't do that, or get rid of the government and let us handle it on its own. But on our own. But speaking in the context of having a government, it's only that. Well, I don't have the freedom. No, of course not, because that infringes upon my freedom to live. That's not complicated.
Or force me to pay taxes, or force me to do a few things.
I mean, I'm with you on taxes.
law
And
order.
the things like the vaccine are where we start to disagree. To me, it's even more fine than that, because there are pathogens that could potentially cause us to really need to make everyone take it. I was just reading
Does anybody say why they're voting for Biden other than Orange Man bad?
that they are, because of global warming, the permafrost, which has not been thought out for eons, is going to melt, and there are organisms there that go back so far that humans have no contact with them, so zero resistance.
Yeah, Leslie's saying when Nietzsche said Nietzsche said God is dead, he meant we, the Romans, killed the concept of God forever. And I think he's sort of right. And we see now, 2,000 years later, that it's rich people teaching poverty. Yep, it's rich people teaching poverty. Yeah, I mean that's what they. Yeah, absolutely. Mike said atheist should not be a word. It's only there because religion. Yep, there's no such word as a leprechaunist, because it's accepted that you don't believe in leprechauns. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio, and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.